morning and welcome to our very first Museum Workers Advocacy Day. My name is Sierra Van Richtergroot. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm very excited to be representing the National Emerging Museum Professionals Network today as we launch this very exciting and very important day for museum workers across the United States and hopefully the world. I'm joined here by my fellow NEMPN board members who you will get to hear from over the next couple of minutes, but I can't really speak to how important and how amazing this day is without acknowledging the origins and the partners who make this all happen. So Museum Workers Advocacy Day comes in direct response to the American Alliance of Museums hosting a very important series of days where they campaign to Capitol Hill around funding and preserving museums. This is incredibly important work, and it ensures that the museums that we work in are funded by the government through various granting opportunities, as well as being supported by our elected officials. However, in that work, we are also kind of ignoring the very lifeblood of the museums, the museum workers, the people who make the museums as opposed to storage facilities. This day is meant to really support those of us who have been in the museums doing the work for especially these past 2 years, but throughout the entire tenure of the museum profession that has largely gone unnoticed. I really want to take the time to acknowledge the fact that Museum Workers Advocacy Day is just one of the incredible things that the National Emerging Museum Professionals Network has been working on over the last couple of years. And this is just part of the journey. And we couldn't do this work all by ourselves, as our mission is really focused on the emerging museum professional. And this is a museum-wide issue, museum field-wide issue. So we are incredibly honored and excited to be partnering with so many organizations and colleagues that we love, respect, and are so excited to be collaborating with today and throughout the rest of the programming that we have planned for today. We will be working with Museum Workers Speak. We'll be working with AICWU, which is the Art Institute of Chicago Workers United, PMA Union, which is the Philadelphia Museum of Art Union. We are very excited to be working with the Mass MoCA Union. We're also excited to be working with our friends from the Visitor Experience Group, as well as our friends at the Museum of Mass Action and the New York City Cultural Workers Organizing Committee. So we're really excited to be working with these individuals. And while these are the folks that we are working with directly on programming and various efforts today, I'm also really excited to be supported by organizations who are just showing their solidarity and support through amplifying and participating in the many activities and scheduled things that we have going on. I do want to make sure that I do acknowledge the fact that this is not a labor that goes without recognition. And I do want to acknowledge the fact that this was done by folks who volunteer their time and volunteer their energy to make this happen. This is a privilege that we all have in this field to be able to give our time in this way. And we do it so that we can ensure that for future generations, that the labor that they put into the work that they do is paid and respected and honored as we move forward. With that said, I am excited to turn this over to my colleague Heidi, who will tell you a little bit about what's coming up today.
Thank you, Sierra. Hi, y'all. My name is Heidi. My pronouns are they, them, he, she, and I am so very excited today. And for all of the work that the Coalition of Museum Arts and Culture Workers have put together for you all, this event and really all the work that we do in tandem with Museum Workers Advocacy Day is in order to impact the museum field. The field that we know has come from exploitation and extraction, the field that we know can do better and can be better for workers and communities. So to gear up for today, mark your calendars. First, for the union teach-in, we have taken note of unionization across sectors and the rise in solidarity with not only museum arts and culture unions, but workers across fields who are organizing like Apple, Starbucks, REI, Kroger, and many others. And we're here to say that we're connected, we're committed, and we're here to share resources, firsthand experiences, and to really work together to investigate and improve labor practices. So there will be two parts of the union teach-in, a morning panel discussion, and we'll be covering the nuts and bolts of what it means to unionize and those challenging bits and the overall benefits of being a union worker. And part two will be an afternoon workshop where we have some wonderful facilitators to guide small discussions and answer your questions about union strategies. And both of these sections will be Chatham House rules. So names stay, ideas leave. We really want everyone to feel comfortable and able to share their thoughts. So some of the people that are absolutely loving that will be joining us are from the PMA Union, Mass MoCA, and Art Institute of Chicago Workers United, the National LGBTQ plus Workers Center, and the United Campus Workers of Georgia. So mark your calendars. There's going to be a lot to learn and a lot to discuss. I am super stoked for the union teach-in. And that is not all for the day. The New York City Museum and Culture Workers will be hosting a panel discussion all about building coalitions for local change. Y'all, that is so important. So join in to hear about grassroots organizing being done, not only by the NYC Museum and Cultural Workers, also PMA Union and Dismantle Preservation. And next on the docket, you'll have an opportunity to wind down with NEMPN's Jenna Green for a 30-minute flow yoga session. Centering self-care is integral, and all proceeds for participating will be going to Museum Workers Mutual Aid Fund. So that fund redistributes wealth to current and former museum workers in need. And remember, these small acts of solidarity, such as giving $5, giving $10, $20, they really add up to a movement. And in closing for the day, we'll be having a museum workers happy hour. So join the NYC Museum and Cultural Workers with a beverage of your choice. And this gathering is also following Chatham House rules. So once again, names stay, ideas leave, and all are welcome. You can share what grinds your gears in the field, what you really love, what you want to see more of, what your dreams and hopes are for the future, not just for the museum field, but for yourself personally. And this will be a great opportunity to connect with some of the organizers of the event and like-minded folks who want to be improving labor practices. So I hope to see you there. And next, I will be passing it along to Jessie to discuss some of the sustaining projects NEMPN has been working on to advocate for workers' rights.
So my name's Jessie Dutton-Kenny. I use she, her pronouns, and I chair NEMPN's advocacy committee. So we have a couple other different ways to get involved in our ongoing advocacy campaigns during Museum Workers Advocacy Day. So our two big initiatives for this fiscal year, this upcoming year, and our ongoing initiatives are ending unpaid internships, our Death to Unpaid Internships campaign, and salary transparency. And these are our two big focuses. And so the first one we have, for Death to Unpaid Internships, we have our NEMPN Internship Fund. And if you check out the website for Museum Workers Advocacy Day, you'll see a way to donate to this ongoing internship fund, where we seek to award need-based stipends to support emerging museum professionals who are faced with financial barriers as they have to pursue unpaid internships in many circumstances. If you are an unpaid intern, you can also apply for funding through our link on the website. So I encourage everyone to check that out. If you're not able to attend programs on Museum Worker Advocacy Day, you can still totally get involved with that campaign. And with our salary transparency work, we have a number of ways for you to get involved. During Museum Workers Advocacy Day, we are officially launching our 2022 Salary Transparency Informational Database. This is building off of the incredible work that Art Museum Transparency did starting in 2019 to gather salary information from museum workers themselves as a way to crowdsource that data and spread it amongst our field. So we're doing a revamped, pretty much the same version, but for 2022. So you can submit your info, you can view the data. Again, check out the website and you'll find all those links. Also, if you go to our website for National EMP Network, which is nationalempnetwork.org, you'll find links to our ongoing salary transparency reporting work, where if you come across a job in the museum field that does not list the salary, you're welcome to send it to us and we will reach out to that institution anonymously, not listing you, to encourage a discussion about salary transparency and why this is important equity work in our field. So if you are interested in getting involved in these campaigns, we encourage you to do so on Museum Workers Advocacy Day and afterwards. But we have a few more ways to get involved. So I'm going to pass it over to Kelsey, our other board member.
Thanks, Jessie. My name is Kelsey Bro. I'm representing Northeastern Region for NEMPN. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm really happy to speak to you about two other ways you can get involved with museum workers advocacy. You can show your support all day, every day for museum workers in all departments by toting some Museum Workers Advocacy Day merch that you can get from our bonfire. These are some really great limited edition designs that are created by some of our collaborators in this effort, so definitely show your support and look cool while doing it. And speaking of looking cool, you can get involved for the small price of only $2 and send a postcard on your behalf that will be handwritten. Either you can get the postcard and send it yourself, or one of our dedicated team of postcard writers will write this postcard on your behalf and send it to AAM. These postcards are asking AAM to consider museum workers in what they do as one of the most, if not the most, visible museum profession organization in the United States, if not globally. We believe that AAM needs to spend some more time focusing on the people who actually make all of the wonderful things that museums do happen. You can't do anything, whether it's hanging an exhibit, doing community outreach, running a cafe, doing integrated pest management, without the people that actually do it. So these postcards are asking for specific demands, action items that AAM can do to center people at the work of the museum work that they do. So we're really grateful for AAM's work and want to help them do better. So you can sign these postcards, and there's a lot of studies that show that handwritten postcards make a bigger difference. So this is a really simple and effective way that you can get your voice heard and make a better museum field for you and for the future. Now back to Sierra.
Thank you so much, Kelsey, Jessie, and Heidi. As you've heard, we have a full jam-packed day of activities, programming, and things for you to do asynchronously throughout Museum Workers Advocacy Day. This is just a small effort. This is a small drop in the bucket of advocacy work that has been done and continues to be done for this field. And we're really excited to be taking part in amplifying that work and amplifying the voices of museum workers who may feel unheard through the work that we're doing today. We invite you to share on social media how you are engaging with Museum Workers Advocacy Day using our hashtags MWAD22 or MWAD 2022, depending on how your flavor is. And we also encourage you to send us pictures of you wearing your best museum swag. If you happen to get your hands on any of our bonfire swag early, we'd love to see that as well. And continue to tag us throughout the month of March as you get your postcards and as things continue to happen and move forward. We encourage you to utilize the resources that were created for Museum Workers Advocacy Day and continue to build on them as we go throughout the rest of the year, because this is not just a day-long effort. This is a continuous effort that will require as many of us as possible to continue to push forward the field in the direction that it should be going in order to make sure that museums stay as not only viable places for our communities to come together and learn and experience objects and the various things that we collect, but also to house and employ and help individuals grow in their career throughout whatever work that they've been doing in the museum center, whether it's front of house or it's back of house or it's contract or somewhere in between. We are so grateful for all of you who are tuning in and are participating throughout the day. And as I said before, we look forward to seeing you either at some of our sessions or seeing you participate in any of our asynchronous work. You can definitely find NEMPN on social media at NEMP Network on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll be posting all day about things to do if you would forget any of those times. We also encourage you to go to our website for Museum Workers Advocacy Day, which is NWAD 2022 at carrd.co. That link will be in the bio, but that is our straight direct link for all things that are happening for Museum Workers Advocacy Day. Thank you so much for joining us for Museum Workers Advocacy Day, and we look forward to seeing you join us at 11 a.m. for the first part of the union teach-in. See you soon.